bottom it says we need to move, and then we need to color the moving object. So now we've got a choice. We can take the one object close to the other and then color, or we can, if we can see the landmarks clearly, I would suggest we leave them as they are, and we're going to color them from here. So I'm going to start coloring, and I'm going to have to make a decision where the intersection are, where I'm going to color. So I'm going to think, okay, let us color this moving here. So I'm going to use the C key, which the C key is circle select. So I'm going to see where they intersect. So okay, we've got an intersection happening there, and maybe we've got this one also is intersecting this one here. So these two, so we've got three already that intersect. And that's probably as much as what I need. I don't really need that much. I'm going to right click to get rid of the circle select, and then I'm going to apply the selection. And then the rest of the model disappears because we want to focus on what we are doing. And then the other one is highlighted. So we don't have to search it. It's already been highlighted. And it says then color destination. I'm going to click color destination. And now I've got a good reference point. I can see this green, and I can see, okay, I'm going to click on the C key, circle select, and I'll do the same. So I'm going to just make a little bit of an outline like this. Right click to get rid of the circle select, and then I'm going to apply this. So now we've got two objects. Now we need to move them close. Don't think you can align them from there to there. So we're going to use the G key. And then the best way of aligning these things I've found is by viewing them from the Z direction and then from one of the sides. So if I click on view, say for example, the top, I'm going to click on top, and then I use the G key and the R key, and I move them close together like this. And then I will have a look at it from the front. And then we're already close. So if you're doing it from the top and then from one of the front or the side, and then move them sort of close, like something like that, that should be okay. And then we're going to click here with the iterations. Now, the iterations is set on 75 by default and the outlier by 20. Now, just to explain how this works, the iterations is the time it takes for this whole mathematics to calculate. So if you're looking at like a large mesh, or then we would probably need more time for the calculation to take place. And if it's a small one, it'll take a smaller iteration. So an iteration is, it performs one calculation and then stops, and then it does another one. And in this case, it performs it 75 times. So when it's done its calculations, it may only go to 30, but we've put it to 75 just to maximize the calculations. But if it's a big scan, you will need to set that to more calculations. So just keep this in mind. The outlier is when you've, for example, you've selected some mesh which is outside one of the objects. Say the destination, you've got more mesh and you've selected more than the other one. That will then reduce the percentage of the mesh on the other side. So it'll reduce 20% of the mesh on the other side. And then the downsampling, for example, means that if you've got like a mesh which is super dense, yeah, and then you've got one mesh that's not as dense, you want to downsample that data. But for these usually no need to touch that. So then we're going to click on Start Tracking, and then we're going to click on stop tracking. Make sure that the vertex select box is checked, otherwise it's not going to work. All right, then we need to select both objects and then perform the ICP tool, and then that'll align the two together as best as what mathematically we can, because these scans, both of them are a little bit different. And then we click on confirm, and then we've got our object which is connected. Now, if you want, have you got any questions regarding this? I'll just take a quick sip of water. Wolfgang, have you got any questions?
No, it's just finding the common denominator between the two scans or models, and yeah, no, it's quite straightforward. Sometimes quite tricky to know which tooth lines up with which tooth, so you need to sort of you know, it's kind of intuitive, but yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward from here.
Yeah, so of course, when you want to do a crown and bridgework model, you can't work with two overlapping models. You know, we're going to have to decide now what we're going to do. We can make this into one object and remesh it, or we can cut off the part that we don't want to have. Now we've decided, all right, we're going to, I think we said we're going to cut through over here, for example. So I'm just going to save this, so we can call this up again. So let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift right click, and then we're going to go to the model designer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose one of the cutting tools. So let's just choose a lasso, draw a lasso. So remember, I want to make a die out of this one. So I'm going to have to cut, say, halfway. Don't cut it short or something. So I'm going to take this lasso cut, and we're going to then, oh gosh, sorry, let me just get this. Draw lasso, and what I'll do is I'll just draw this line in between, select everything that's underneath it, and I'm going to say keep outside. We don't want to keep the inside, we want to keep the outside, and then we're going to accept this. All right, so now we've got this model and we've got that model, and then I can remove, no, actually, yeah, I need to still remove this piece over on this side. So from this model, I've got to remove some. So I can do the same thing again and take away the other model. Something like that, and then apply, accept. So now I've got two of the best worlds here, if you can call it that. All right, so alternatively, let's just call this up again. I can remesh it. So now what happens when I remesh them? They've both joined together. So what I'll do is I'll go to the model designer, and then we'll join them. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to join these objects. Now, the shortcut key is Control J. So if you know you want to join something, Control J. So I'm going to look at this now in cross section, and I can see, oh, well, this is actually a very good ICP alignment that we got, but we got one model inside another model. So I'm going to remesh this. So if some of you guys that don't know, we're going to open up the property toolbox. We're going to go to the spanner, and then we're going to look for remesh. Then we've got a choice. We've got a voxel remesh. And did you see what happened here? Let's just do this again. So the remesh will get rid of the inside, all of the inside bits, which is absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to click on this, and it'll get rid of the inside. Can you see? All the insides removed. But when you do this, make sure you've got a very small size, maybe 0.1, because we don't want to destroy the integrity of our scan. So I'm going to press apply, and it is a very dense scan, but it's one object. We've made one object out of it, and the beauty of it is now we can make our dies for each and every one, and we've got one model.
Yeah. So, Michael, the question here is, can you now, is it best to create a nice base before you start making your crown and bridge model, or would you just keep on going from here?
Look, Wolfgang, we always advocate to have nice bases.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm just putting a random question here. Okay.
Yeah, I would arch cut this. But you see the step here. The step is a bit rubbish. I don't want to come with the arch cut line and go bloop down. We may have problems with that. So I would probably take the sculpting tool and just like quickly brush it over, and then just put down your arch cut line.
All right, Michael, but with the arch cut line, we can't go through solid models. So you'd have to turn this into shell first.
No, we can because we can because we've got it's hollow inside, but that's fine.
Okay.
And then you want me to cut it or shall?
Yeah, go cut it. So you just press the clean button at the end of it, and that will take care of it.
Yeah, that's right. So, well, we can put a test.
Yeah.
So I haven't done this with these models, but let's just do this. I will go sculpt, and I'll just get rid of this. And remember, this is quite a dense mesh, so whatever we're doing may just take a little bit more of time, computer time.
Alternatively, can you use the fast edit and then just skim away a lot of it and then do your arch cut?
Yeah, of course, you can do that as well. So what I'll do, and this is a good, I think this is important when we're doing, when we're cutting and we're cleaning meshes, is always to check the line where we're cutting. Now, this is not a good scan because we don't even have the prep at the back, the tooth prep. So I'm just going to ignore this for now. And, I mean, it's not a good scan. So I just want to make sure that the arch cutting tool, in fact, does work where I want it to work. In fact, I will just cut through this tooth just for this example. So exit. It is very dense. I mean, we could, in edit mode, you can see how dense it is.
Yeah, so could you
actually we could reduce it. Yeah, let's reduce it once because we're looking at 1 million vertices. A normal model's around about 300,000 vertices, and by reducing that, we wouldn't lose the integrity of the scan. As you can see, we've reduced it to 500,000, which is still quite a lot. I'm going to reduce it one more time. 300,000 verts it's a good size. Actually, we've veered off the subject a bit, so sorry about that. We don't have to. You see, so we've got a way better. So we'll just make a nice model and then.
Yeah, because ultimately, if you want to make crown and bridge work models, you want to start off with a good foundation.
Yeah, that's right. And the nice thing is now that we've been able to make one model out of two, which is it's fairly awesome. We'll fuse that and then we'll trim it. Select the mesh we want and we'll just click on clean. See, so now that's gotten rid, Wolfgang, of the base that you were talking
so
about earlier.
The clean function gets rid of all of that.
100%, 100%. So we'll just, I don't know. Oh gosh, is this an upper or lower model? I don't know now. I've clicked on upper base.
I think it's a lower. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. You disappeared.
Okay.
It's lower.
Well, did you see the blunder?
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you see it? It extruded the wrong way.
Because you chose upper instead of lower. Yeah.
Yeah. Am I back online?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Okay. Now we got a beautiful model. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So,
Are there any questions or something? Yeah.
Yeah, I do have one question. Initially, when you're aligning with the ICP alignment tool, so the object moving might have a different mesh structure to the destination object. The mesh might be very different.
Yeah,
Would that matter?
Like an implant.
So would that matter?
Absolutely. All right, so let's open it up.
Okay.
File, open. I think it's this one now. Yeah, all right. So here we've got an implant. We've got a few different scans here, so I've just got to sort out which one we need and which one we don't. This one, I'll just move that into a different collection. And we will hide that one. So we need that one. We've got a buccal scan. We don't need that one. So I'm going to delete that. And we've got an upper. I'm going to chuck that into the other collection. So this is all we need. So let's go to our component library. All right. So in the component library, now this is an Odontifix implant scan body. So we're going to look for Odontifix. I think it's a Sirona, if I can remember correctly.
Yeah, it is.
Is it? And
yeah.
Which one should we take? Straumann or?
Oh, it's irrelevant.
We'll take a Noble Active. So we've got the render of it over here. And I'm going to click on that. And now we can choose which Noble Active are we going to go with. Let's take a bigger one like a molar. So this is a 4.3. Let's take a 5 millimeter diameter, and we're going to click on append. So here we've got two components. We've got the scan body and we've got an analog. Now, the scan body, if I look at it, and a lot of implant makers have scan bodies which are hollow. I don't know why. I think maybe so that you don't steal their components or something. I don't know. And the mesh here is very simplistic. And the ICP tool relies on these vertices. Now you can see we want to accumulate all these little vertices, put them into a mathematical equation, and then we look at this one and we say, oh, well, where's the maths? You know, they don't, you know, it's not going to work. All right. So we have to remesh this object. Now, we can't remesh it because it's got a hole in it. You can't, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that hole first. So I'm going to go to models and I'm going to just click fill holes. So this will fill my hole at the bottom.
Michael, can
so
you just,
now, yeah.
Sorry, can I just butt in here? Sometimes the components for implants could be inside out. So it's it's quite helpful to go into your normals where you can see the face orientation to see which way the mesh is actually facing. So when you're making an
Good point.
object, if you're filling that, there's no use filling an implant component which is actually inside out. So this is something,
100%.
get used to checking that face orientation checkbox.
Good point. Good point. All right. So now we've got these two. We have to remesh this component, but also the other thing is we need to link the component, because when we use an ICP tool, we need to make sure that the lower one links together with the scan body, because we don't want to leave it, we don't want this one to miss the bus.
Mm-mm.
We're going to let it catch the bus. So I'm going to go to the components, and then we will go into transparent mode, and we will check this one, shift left click this one, make sure the scan body is the last one to select, and we're going to link it. So link it, we actually parented it. So whatever we do with this, the other one is going to follow. So that
Now,
is very, very
now,
important.
Michael, there's a reason why we go into transparent mode, because with our implant libraries, the way we like to have them, and this is how we're negotiating our deals with the other implant components. We've got 3 other ones coming on board. We want to have our implant components in assemblies. So our users shouldn't have to go to different lists of components and trying to source these. It's easier if we have them all stacked into an assembly, and then by going into transparent mode, you can then pick out only the components you want, and the ones you don't want you can delete or put into a different layer. So this is why it's important to go into transparent mode.
Exactly. And sometimes these assemblies could have many, many components in them, don't they, Wolfgang?
Yeah, that's right.
If I go into transparent mode here, we've got the screw, we've got the
Engaging,
little,
non-engaging, you name it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is why we're going to transparent mode, so that we can choose the components we need, and then we can, yeah. So going back now, we've got the component module, and we've linked them, and I'm going to move these. I can then move these into a different collection, which is called components. And we've done that because if you're working with 5 or 6 implants and each one's got like 4 components, we're looking at this whole thing fills up full of components, and this is object management. So anyway, from here on, we're going to go to the alignment tool, and we're going to click on remesh moving. Now this will make a different mesh. It's deformed it a little bit, but that's still okay because we've still got the basic shape. If you look at this one, now the mesh is we got sort of a, well, this one is a bit more dense, but that's still okay. So from this point, we've remeshed it and we've parented. Now we can continue. We can say this is our moving one and this is our destination one. And it flicks it back to this one, and I'm going to color. Now, again, I've got a choice. If I can see the landmarks, in our videos, we've brought them close. So maybe we should do this just to follow our tutorial.
So Michael, just on this, you purposefully made the other components that you parented to disappear. So don't be alarmed that, whoa, suddenly they're gone. But this is just so you can focus to match one component against the other. So they're still there, but they're just hidden.
Exactly. And the fact that it's see-through is, wireframe is actually quite good because we can then see, okay, where we're placing these things. So we want to place it quite close to each other. And this is where I like using Alt-B, because Alt-B allows me to get a cross section so that I've got 360-degree view without the other teeth interfering. So I can actually see what I'm doing. Now, if you look carefully, the actual scan of this is not a very good scan. I think, I don't know who scanned this. Wolfgang, I think our scanner does a way better job, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't scan this one, so all right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So look, this is probably okay. What is important is the XYZ axis. So we want to color the where it stops on the Z axis, and we need to make sure it doesn't rotate, and we need to make sure the length doesn't do this. So those three things we always need to keep in mind. So I'm going to go color moving, and with the C key, I'll highlight this section. And I think this is where the Odontofix is really good, Wolfgang, because we've got this little pyramid on top. So we've got the Z axis covered. Yeah. We've got the Z axis covered, and we've got the rotation covered, and they've put like a little notch here. I don't know if you've noticed, which is also quite good, I thought. And that's probably enough. And then I'm going to color the destination. And now we've got one lapping over the other. Now, what is very important, you don't just go, oh, color and ops, do this, because it's going to screw up with the calculation. So if you do that, click on the C key, and then with the mouse wheel down, you can rub away what you don't want to have. So just try and be vigilant, because these are implants that go into the mouth, and we want these implants to be as close as what we can possibly get it. I would say something like that. And then we can then do the iterations. By default, they're 75 and 25, I think. Wolfgang, I'm not sure.
I think so, yeah.
Anyway, we're going to apply this, and then we're going to start and stop tracking. Make sure the vertex select is checked. Select both and perform the ICP. So it's done it, and I think we've got a very good alignment. And you know, don't be alarmed if there's a bit of mesh over here. That's because, you know, the scan wasn't good in first place. So what we're looking at is a number of averages, you know, a large number of averages. So there may be some things that are not exactly, but you can see it's sort of lying onto the surface. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click on confirm, and then we can then have a color guide. You can have a look. The blue is the contact areas. The red is no contact, or, you know, minimal contact. And this seems to be quite good. And then I'm going to click on exit this. And that sort of completes our ICP, except for one more thing. This one is linked. So if I take this scan body and delete it, so if I go X delete, that one will clip back to where it was, because it hasn't taken the orientation. So in the component model, we can just click unlink, and now it's unlinked and it's perfect. It's ready to go for our next step to make a model. So yeah, I'll just take a drink. If there's any questions, please just ask.
Yeah, so if you're going to make a model, Michael, you can just, well, you'd hide the implant components, maybe fast edit the existing scan body away, and then close that off. And then you can use the insert tool.
we don't need the scan body anymore. I'm going to delete it. Now this is what's important. This one here is important, and this is what we're going to be using then to make our implant model. All right. Yeah. So, do you want me to just make a model, or should
Michael,
we leave it at that?
have you still got the you know, the buccal scans that we can just show how you can animate a jaw movement with the ICP alignment tool? Was that catching you by
Yeah.
surprise?
No. I've pre-planned this the whole day.
Come
Just
on.
kidding. You see, I even knew where to find it.
You knew that question was coming up.
Yeah. Like politicians, I know all the questions that come up.
Next time I will ask you a more difficult question.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the timeline up so that we can see this. And I've got 3 different buccal scans. So now I don't know which if scanners can even do multiple buccal scans and export them. I think you'd actually have to do like 3 different patients, or I'm not exactly sure how it works. But hopefully this can be done. But I've taken 3 different buccal scans here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of them, which is the protrusive. I'm going to select my model as well. I'm going to hide the rest. So control, so I'm going to take this one and this one. Control I is the inverse, and I'm going to hide. So I've got 2 things on the screen now. So the objective is to animate this.
Just the lower
So what
jaw,
we're going to do, so what we're going to do is we need a 0.0, which it is now, and we need the end destination. So in my alignment tool, I'm going to go, okay, this is the object now that is going to move. So this is my moving object. And this is my destination. And now I'm going to click on Start Animation, which puts a keyframe in number 5 slot. Yeah. Then it goes to number 10, and it's waiting for us to do the ICP to put the next animation keyframe into the slot. All right. So I'm going to now move this object to the other side. All right. So I can do that, or I can color the object first. Actually, I'm going to color this object first. So I know that we need to color the incisal few teeth. So what I can do is I can color straight through this if I want to. So I need to make sure it's selected, color moving, and I'll just color straight through it. So, you know, just to save time, like this, it's all I need to do. Click on apply, and then I'm going to take this one, and then I'm going to color the destination. I'm just going to sweep it across like that. Apply, and then it's waiting for me to make a movement. So I'm going to move it. Something like that. Then I'm going to go start tracking, stop tracking, select both, and perform my ICP. Just wait for it to finish, which it's done. And then I'm going to confirm that. And then I'm going to click stop animation. So that's put in another 2 keyframes, and it's waiting for us to do the next one. So that's on number 20. So if I had to move this, let's just hide all the other stuff again, just to demonstrate. Oh, not that one, that one. So just to demonstrate here. So here we've got 0.0, then it moves to this one, then it moves back again. So we've got this movement back again. So we've animated the jaw into the protrusive position. And then of course we will then do the next one. So just say we take the yellow one. And then we will do exactly the same thing. Now this one becomes the moving, this one becomes the destination, and then we're going to color the moving. And now just give it a quick sweep through like this. I'm going to apply that, and I'm going to color the destination. Apply that, move the two together. Maybe something like that. And then we're going to then start tracking, stop tracking, make sure the vertex select mode is always checked, select both, perform ICP. And when it's done its magic, which it's done its magic, we're going to click on confirm, and then we're going to click on stop animation. So let's put on another few keyframes. So now when we go through our keyframes, we can see how this actually works. So we've got forward protrusive, it goes back.
Can you hide the scans that we can see it better, Michael? The buccal scans. Sorry to be fussy.
Oh, that's okay. So we've got this selection going. Yeah. Now this is the jaw's been hypothetically placed, so this is not a real case, and I doubt the jaw is going to do this. Yeah. So this is just an example of what you guys can do, and in the near future, I'm going to link this to the cutting tool, so we can use this for crowns and bridges or whatever we need to do. And then we will use these keyframes then to use for cutting objects which we are designing inside the mouth. All right. Any questions regarding the ICP alignment?
I'll just unmute. All right.
It's been so quiet here.
No, I think, Mark, you've done a good job. It's actually a lot of fun, the ICP alignment. Yeah. And you can do a heck of a lot with it. It's a really good one. Initially, we tried to connect the facial scans with the tooth models, but we weren't that successful with the facial scans, hey, Michael, with the teeth.
Yeah, I've tried Bellis on my iPhone, but it was just, the quality was so poor that I couldn't really, it's not there yet, I don't think. But there are other scanners that are, but you'd have to spend like $20,000 or something, to get a good scanner, I think.
But I mean,
I think in
the future, it's an ideal scenario to be able to match the dental model to a facial scan and the teeth of that.
100%. Well, you can use this ICP tool to do that. All you need to do is make sure you parent the lower model with the upper, and then you ICP the upper together with the facial scan, and then you've got it.
So very similar to the implant that you just did as well, just parented.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I have a question. I don't know. Could we hear each other?
Yeah,
yes, I can hear you.
I'm asking a question regarding the facial scan which you mentioned just now. I'm wondering, have you tried to to use this like a phone scan application to do something with regarding this, because there are some, I don't know, I never tried so far, but I saw that such a thing exists. You just take a phone and make some kind of multiple images around the patient. So I'm wondering, does the thing work at all, or one must have some shining 3D or whatever external
Yeah.
scanner for patient scan?
Yeah, you see with the photogrammetry, that's what you're talking about. You're taking like 20 or 30 photographs from a face. And I think there have been results where it's just absolutely amazing. Now, I haven't had much time to try it out. I've done a little bit of it. I've failed a little bit with it, but I know there's someone, Cicero. You may know him. He's got a lot of stuff on Facebook. He's just phenomenal when it comes to photogrammetry. So I think if you've got a question, ask him, and I'm quite sure he's happy to share his information. And I think that's the way to go. If you don't have a facial scanner, photogrammetry is the way to go, I think.
Parametry is enough, I guess, for itself. But I didn't hear, what was the name of the guy that you mentioned?
Cicero. What I can do is I can send you his contact information via Facebook, and you know,
Great.
he's amazing with Blender. He's got some of his own stuff going, but with photogrammetry, he's out there. He knows what he's doing.
I think,
Yeah.
Michael, I think the way some people are doing facial scans with a iPhone or camera like that and using Ballas, but they use a special jig they put into the mouth that the patient bites into, and then you align the jig with the model to that.
Yeah, I've had some debate on the internet about the relevance of that, because you know, if you've got a nice scan, you've got scan A and you've got scan B. I don't know how it works, so I can't comment so much about that. But I think the whole idea is about, you know, we need two scans. We need one where the patient just smiles, and one with the patient was showing all of the teeth open wide, so that we can use that for alignment. And then we use a scan of just a simple smile to use the ICP on top of that. So you just choose the nose and the ears to align. So there's 2 times ICP that you've got to do. But then with that thing coming out of the mouth, that just positions that more accurately, you know, supposedly, I think.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, so any other questions or?
Not so far regarding the subject. I just recently installed this model, the designer, and I'm pretty much new in all of that. I managed to print some model from the sample so far, but I'm still adjusting the printer and so on, discovering, and I see that this is like, you know, completely like a new planet in comparing to other this kindergarten programs and so on. I see that there must be done a lot of learning, which I am up to, but I have a feeling that some kind of a potential which is behind all of this, yeah, because it's not so strict, but it's open. But in the meanwhile, you need to build your knowledge regarding the subject. So
Yes.
I'm in the so I'm not. Unfortunately, I have no questions.
Okay. Look, Blender is a learning curve. I've done it for a long time now, but the opportunities that exist, this is what I want to share with the world. I want to share this with everyone, because it's not just the add-ons. And the add-ons, for example, sometimes there's codes there, you know, there's like thousands of lines, honestly, just to do one little thing. And you know, some people think, I'll use Mesh Mixer. It's easy. I can do everything in Mesh Mixer. But the problem is, you know, you can't, because, you know, everything is repetitive. You know, making a model, making a die, making an implant, you know, guide or a splint or something. It's, you will sit there for a whole month. You know, you won't earn any money.
Yeah, sure. It's
Yeah.
kind of, you know,
Yeah.
it must be completely in, one must be completely in the design. And I mean,
Yeah.
when you are in programming, working with code, then you know you want to connect something, and I see a huge word behind it, and but also, as said, there I have a feeling of some potential regarding that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Got lots of potential.
yeah.
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 So,
Okay.
good. So
I
it was
appreciate that you guys joined us. You know, we have this every Wednesday, so maybe next week we do something else. You know, please join us again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would be pleased to join and to grow my knowledge, you know, and just put blood time in the learning process. So I hope that step by step I would I mean neben dem Arbeit und so, ich versuche so alles zu erledigen sozusagen.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ja.
You had a question a few weeks ago. You had a question of making a die and fitting that die into. Now I've thought about this, and you can do this because you need to duplicate your die cutting tool. So you duplicate that, and you can use that then on the other model if you wanted to. If you want me to make a video, I know exactly what you're talking about, so we can address that. So you got the prep, and then you've got the tooth, both coming into one die. So that is possible to do.
Yeah. So because this alignment tool, so to say, this ICC alignment tool is not possible to, how to say, to combine two scans. Okay, this is shown in Ordnung sozusagen. To combine two scans, as we saw, you are able to combine what I saw at the beginning. It was like some kind of impression and model. Model was not correct on one side. We wanted to do alignment in order to achieve the better working object or model. Yeah. So in that sense, one could eventually put those two scans together before the prep and after the prep. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I cannot think in that way because I have no knowledge. But in order, how is possible to align something what is not how to say same? Yes, because before the prep you have one way, one dimension, and after the prep you have second dimension. So, and when I think about this problematic, so to say, with my current knowledge, yeah, I could eventually imagine that you take scans before the prep, after the prep, you are making a kind of a same level model with the same base, and eventually you are dyeing the prepped model, you are making the removable, so to say, and after making the removable, eventually you are using the dimension of the base part of the removable and then connecting with the model which is before prep, because you could have maybe two parameters. You have a parameter of removable die and you have a parameter of a baseline. So maybe that could be the idea for the development of this problemacy which I was thinking about a few 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Excellent.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Yep.
So we'll be signing off now. Hey, Wolfgang, I think, thank you for
Yeah,
joining
I
us
think,
again.
yeah, thanks a lot. And then if you guys want to put a proposal forward for a topic, even, you know, we haven't made any decisions for next week, but, you know, feel free.
Or you may have a scan that is like very difficult, or you want to design something on a splint or like a double splint or something, you know, just forward it to us and then we'll do it. We can design it.
Or
All
sometimes these implant analogs can get a little bit tricky, especially with some systems like, for example, IPD, where you've got a screw coming from the underside of the model. So you've got to do a bit of modifications to the analog. And while we've got some videos out there, I don't think that concept's so well understood. So maybe we can delve into that a little bit, you know, complicated analog cutting tools. Even though in the components with the 3 companies that I've mentioned, we will specifically include cutting tools for the analog, so you don't have to muck around with the analogs as such. So, and same thing with the Steco components, which we're going to incorporate into the surgical guide module. We'll have cutting tools for that. So yeah, like I said, you don't have to modify those components, because some of those components have undercuts or cementable ridges, and you can't just do a Boolean cut because those ridges will still stay behind and you won't be able to press fit that component into the guide sleeve. So you've got to actually take those out, and we'll have those pre-made, those cutting tools, which is good. All right, thank you for joining, and we'll sign off then. Excellent.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye. Bye
Okay.
for now.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Great.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
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 Bye.